Maybe. Okay, yeah, we're up.
Are we on Insta today? Oh
We
yeah,
are
we
on
are.
Insta, yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, I see us.
And I believe we are on YouTube as well. I have to do that for my phone in a weird way so I can see it. But anyway, all right, so we are up and we are here to review Joe's new album, The Crux. So why don't you kick us off? Because this is actually your suggestion to do this review.
Was it? It was my
It
suggestion, yeah.
was because hit us in the feels.
Yeah, well, I guess it all started off with we did a listening party, right? As many of you know, Ashley and I work one night, sometimes a couple of nights at a record store at Max J Records in Fairhaven, and we did a listening party on the 29th of March. Seems like
29th,
it was
yeah.
so far away,
Well, it's the
more
end
of
of
a
March.
little,
We're already into April. That
yeah,
came quick.
yeah. And honestly, it's like I had listened to Joe many times. I think I had told you, Ashley, on Alt Nation on Sirius XM,
That's right, yeah.
because I'm really into the indie alternative scene right now. It's like I don't know why that music's just resonating with me at this time. And I used to see the name Joe, DJO. I didn't even know if I was pronouncing it right until you told me, oh no, it's pronounced Joe. And was absolutely clueless as to this that it was really Joe Keery. You
Same,
know,
yeah. Same experience.
I
Had no
had
idea if it was
no
pronouncing it
idea.
right. I think I did a name that tune at work, and somebody had picked
Hmm.
the end and the beginning from Decide, and we're like, "Oh, play the
Hmm.
song. It's my new favorite." I had no idea who like it was Joe Keery's band. Nothing. Of course, we watched Stranger
Yeah.
Things. That's everywhere, but
Hmm.
this was such
Yeah.
a interesting spin through.
Yeah. I had no idea, and I was like, oh, it's like really that's him. I said I like some of the songs that they play on, Alt Nation, and we went into the listening party. I really had no expectations whatsoever. I just know that the songs I had heard were catchy. You know.
Exactly that. We went to the listening party, and we're helping out at the store that we were at Max J we work, and again, no expectations going in because I hadn't listened to either of the other full albums before that
Hmm.
day.
Same.
So, we're there and 55 people responded to that listening party. So, when you
Mm-hmm.
talk about the listening parties, number one, for anybody listening, if you have an opportunity to go to an indie store to do a listening party, absolutely do it. Because number one, you have the opportunity to possibly pick the album that day if
Hmm.
it's the release day, which is huge. But also, you get to listen to the whole album. There's usually
Hmm.
goodies, some kind of fancy giveaway that day that you get to take home to if it's not the same day. So, but the opportunity to listen to that full album ahead of time is a blessing because number one, if it's great, you have the chance to pre-order it, get it. There's usually some kind of indie exclusive colored vinyl that now you're guaranteed to get. And then there's other people who you can talk to about the album.
Hmm.
So 55
Yes.
people RSVP'd. We had 36 people show up and fill that store. It was huge.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, obviously, the people who show up to these are fans of the artist. There was no doubt in my mind, those people were fans because they were singing along to some of the singles that
Yeah,
had already
dancing,
been released.
moving.
So it was a very successful listening party, you know, and really we were able to listen to all of the Crux, which you'll see as we go along. I had no expectations, but I was very happily surprised. Let's just say that.
Yeah, same. So before we get into the crux, I want to mention that, we've heard some other new songs come out in the
Hmm.
last week. So this is one that we've kind of stepped out to do because this album kind of hit us both where we were like, hey,
Hmm.
this is worth talking about, especially because it is a new release. But Kesha just dropped her new song, Yippee Ki featuring T Pain. And that's going to be off her new album that comes out July 4th.
Hmm.
And so we have Kesha who's kind of revitalizing now. She's also on her own label now. So she's got her independence, which I thought was funny because her release is July 4th. So Kesha's Independence, America's Independence. And then Miley Cyrus just dropped, I think it was on Friday, End of the World, which is going to be on Something Beautiful coming on May 30th. So whether either of those albums long-term make our list or we don't end up loving, it's important to celebrate new music anyway because summer's coming. And I think this is going to be something that we hear throughout the summer too.
Yeah, definitely. So, so as you said, this is his third album, right? He had 2020 and he had Decide.
Yes.
And I recently listened through both of those before listening to this one. It's very clear how he's adapted musically and the musical maturity in this album compared to the other two. I mean, let's face it. I mean, everyone knows what I call the indie pop gem known as End of the Beginning. Most people know what it is. You know, I think it had over 1.5 billion streams or something like that to date. And really, it's like his first. I mean, he's primarily an actor, I guess. That's how most people knew him first from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was on Fargo. I had no idea.
Oh, he's on Fargo. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's a TV series too.
Huh.
And
right.
I mean, really, he could have just been like, "Hey, that was me dipping my toes into the music industry with End of the Beginning becoming as popular as it was," and then okay, I'm done with this. But no, it's like it's like no, I got more to do after Stranger Things, you know.
Love that.
It's kind of funny because you and I had talked. There's so many Easter eggs on the cover, right?
Yeah, I spent some time dissecting this today because I've been listening to this album since we got it, and I was like, I can't wait for this to come. At the listening party, I was like, I have to pre-order this immediately. And then when I finally got it, I was like, it's been on repeat since then because it was that good.
Yeah.
So when I heard about the Easter eggs, I sat down and I'm trying to look as best as I can with my old ass eyes and see what Easter eggs I could find. And there were a few in there. So I think as we go through track by track, we can talk about maybe the ones that we might have hit.
I mean, one thing right off the bat that's Joe Keery.
Yeah.
Hanging out the window. And there's the other view of him hanging out the window. But what's interesting, it's like, hey, he's hanging out the window and look, everyone's so busy, they're not even paying attention to what's going on. Right?
Oh, yeah. And as you talk about the album itself, it's really important to think about that perspective of that, people around you not paying attention and not living in the moment. When this album was being written, Joe Keery mentioned he did have a lot of downtime and no social life, so he would write anything down daily about observations from daily life. So the cover really speaks to a lot of the lyrics that came through.
And if you look at 2020 and Decide, his face is completely obscured from any of the covers. For Decide, it's obscured. On 2020, he's not pictured at all. He was trying to really distance himself from the actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I had read he would even perform with like wearing orange wigs and sunglasses on stage, so that people wouldn't recognize him as the actor from Stranger Things.
You know what, though? No respect in that regard, because we've always seen bands or artists that have been like, I was an actor first, and now I'm going to take a step into music. And there's a little bit of nepotism when you say, I did this, now I want to do that. So, they automatically have this support and they have this in. So to kind of have this anonymity under this name, I would have never known DJO as Joe Keery, as you mentioned. So to kind of gain your own recognition in this organic way, kudos to Joe Keery. Great on you.
Yeah, and really, it's like, to me, it's almost like a statement where now it's like he wants to be recognized for his music.
Absolutely, and it's coming. This album, I think, just based on what we witnessed from that listening party, I put a couple of videos on TikTok. It went viral, and then we see people are listening and responding to it. He's gaining a following, and he's gaining that momentum. So this just came out. What's going to come next as he continues this progression?
Yeah. One thing that I loved about this album, too, is, I don't know if you noticed, but in a lot of the liner notes under these songs, he has 4 sisters, and they are in this album. They do some background vocals.
I didn't realize that, no.
Yeah, which I think is really cool. You know, yeah,
No, I
where
didn't notice that. I did notice that he wrote all of every single song he has a songwriting credit for, and then there's one other gentleman because I was trying to find out who he was
was
today.
it Adam?
It is Adam,
Adam, yep.
and I don't quite know how deep into the songs he contributed, but he mentioned being very collaborative and how that approach is, and I think he's a producer too. And I thought to myself, if this is what this producer slash co-writer is, I think Jack Antonoff has some competition coming for, production.
Yeah.
Um,
hmm
I want to see more from whoever this Adam person is.
hmm Yeah. And the Crux itself, I mean, no, I'm not trying to be a professor or know-it-all, but really a crux is the decisive or the most important point of an issue
Hmm.
that involves a decision. So, you know, obviously knowing the definition of the word and then going into the lyrics, by the way, the beautiful lyric sheet
I
that
love the lyric
is
sheet.
in the album, right? Me too. I actually sat down yesterday and put the record on and I was like, okay, let me follow along and read every single lyric. And yeah, it just gives a new dimension to the album.
Nope, I'm with you. And so like let's jump right into the
Yeah.
tracks, right? So this kicks off with Lonesome is a State of Mind.
hmm
This was a fun way to start this album. The beat progression is great. It keeps you on your toes. And then the lyrics in this are so fun.
hmm
The line, I swear I've had this dinner before. I know I've heard that song. My future's not what I thought. I think I thought it wrong.
Yeah.
Joe,
Love
what
that line.
happened to you?
And
Um,
really, yeah, I was. That's my favorite lyric off of that one too.
yes, that's song number one off this
Yeah.
album. When this came on, and I think I looked at you too during that listening party, I turned around and I was like, wow, it just came in so strong. And
Yeah.
then doing the research that I had done for this one, he stated that he spent so much time thinking about different eventualities and how things could have changed, scenarios about the future, etc. And it's a big reflection on the wasted time doing that because, and like quick callback to decide, but there's no magic 8 ball
hmm
to predict your future. So
hmm
try and live your life in the moment and stop worrying about what could have been. So when you talk about people not paying attention and falling out of the window on the cover, like maybe they are paying
Yep.
attention to their life, that could be a thing because of those Easter
hmm
eggs.
Exactly. Exactly. And we'll see like some of that. Even people glued to their cell phones instead of being in the moment. You know, there's uh, there's some of that shows up too. You
Oh
know.
yeah, I believe we talked about that a second ago. But is that Sabrina Carpenter in the window? Right above
Exactly.
him, taking a selfie.
Yeah. But yeah, it starts off strong. Fun rhythm to it. A lot of these songs, like even "Lonesome Is a State of Mind," starts off slow,
It
right?
does.
But then when it picks up, it's like, oh, this is a
Yeah,
bop.
absolute bop. Really set a good tone for this record because it grabbed my attention right away, and I started getting
hmm
hungry for more.
Definitely. And I'll go out on a limb and say it's like the song is like good intro, but it's like you ain't seen nothing yet.
100%.
You know, as you go along, it's like good opening, but it's like there's a lot more to dig in.
Yeah. All right. And then it jumps into song two, which is I think one of the singles, "Basic Being Basic."
Yeah, I think it was the first single, and less than 3 minutes,
Yeah.
2 minutes and 38 seconds. But
It
man,
goes quick, but it's a
it
great
goes
song.
quick to the point where I'm like, I want to hear it again. I want to
Yeah.
hear it again. I want to hear it again. I want to
Repeat.
hear it again. Yeah, it's just very, I guess, cheeky lyrics, I
Hmm.
guess should say, but it's refreshing, right?
It is.
Uh, it's like just thinking of lines like, I don't want your money, I don't care for fame, I don't want to live in life where that's my big exchange. It's like, hey, it's like, it's not all about the fame and the fortune, you know? And
Exactly.
I don't know, I really like this song. And, just the back and forth with if that's funny, I'm not funny, and it's like it has I don't know how to even explain it, like a spirit to it that it talks about some serious material, but it's so fun that it's like it gets stuck in your head. And the
Yeah.
chorus of that line, it's just, oh, just so good.
This is such a great song because, to your point, there's a lot of heavy lyrically. It's very heavy, but it reminds me kind of "We Didn't Start the Fire." In, it's all this like
Yeah.
crazy stuff going on in the world, and then he's talking about Vera Bradley's back in vogue, rah rah chuggy phobe. So it's all these tongue in cheek jokes about life around us. So little new agey, Billy Joel there, and as you listen through this album, there's so much inspiration that you can hear that maybe he called from that went into this. So this one definitely reminded me of that, but it gets its own way of doing it, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. So good. I mean, I think they made. I mean, I was going to say I think they made an excellent job picking the first single, but man, I think I could pick any of these.
Yeah.
As their first single when you go along with it. It's like I don't think there's one song on this album that I would say, no, I definitely would not release that as a single.
Agreed. I think there's one that I would alter a little bit, but I'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
And then Link, which is track number 3. All right. This one do you remember the song Damn It by Blink-182?
Yeah.
I Guess This Is Growing Up. I think it's like this reminded me of a new age, I Guess This Is Growing Up. Because it talks about, I just graduated, top of my class, furthest from last, so why do I feel so bad? All right, so, you're kind of entering into adulthood. It's time to get your shit together. And then, again, it's just a fun song, but it's, he says, I write things as they come to me. I write every day. These are the thoughts that he's having. We just looked up his age. He's 32 years old, but, I'm almost 38. I'm still like, oh, shit, what do I want to be when I grow up? So that's what that song reminded me of.
100%. And I think that's exactly what it was intended to be. And, it's almost like, he wrote these lyrics, obviously through his real life events. And at the end of the day, whether you're an actor, a singer, a performer, or you work at Dunkin' Donuts, we still go through the same stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's how, it's like you connect with the audience. Is you're writing like, hey, something, it's like we're not that different, really. It's like my job may be different. People may know me, but I'm still going through the same stuff you are.
For sure. No, it's a great song, and it's very much about community in that way. What do we got next?
I think we got Potion.
So that's the new single, according to Wikipedia.
Really?
That's going to be coming, or maybe starting to trend soon.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be the new single.
So how did you feel about this one? Because there's a hook in here musically, or like maybe it's an instrument, I don't know, that reminded me of a band, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
The guitar riff probably going to be a different band than you're thinking of. It reminds me a bit of Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, I did not go Fleetwood Mac. Okay.
Yeah, the guitar riff has like a Fleetwood Mac vibe to me, but I'm curious to see who you.
See, I heard a bit of MGMT when I was listening to this one.
Yeah.
So, but I don't do a ton with Fleetwood. All respect to Stevie Nicks, but listening to like the inspiration here, he was all over the board. But I definitely got a lot of MGMT because of how new wavy this song was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I think the song may have been inspired by Lindsey Buckingham. I don't know that for a fact.
Sure.
But it's just another good song, and he described this single as like your favorite pair of jeans.
Okay.
Right? It's like I don't know about you. I have a favorite pair of jeans.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're like, these just fit just right, like Goldilocks, It's like, I
Yeah, for
think this
sure.
one's just right. So,
Just
there you go to, you know. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just obviously he's very comfortable singing about this material, and it's just I loved it. I thought it was really good.
this
This
one
one
is
too.
a I love this song. The entire first half of this album had such a hold on me, and then this was one of the Easter eggs that was, very obvious right in front. Um, on the back cover of the album,
Hmm.
the Potion Cafe is
Hmm.
in view,
Yep.
so that matches right there, and I
Yeah.
loved seeing that.
Yeah. I would definitely say if you haven't heard the new single, Potion, take the time. It's worth
Go
it.
listen to it.
Yeah. I think it's a must listen.
This whole album is honestly.
Well, we'll get there
We'll
later.
get there later. Then we have Delete Ya. You look
I heard
sad.
no because I heard this song actually for the first time on the way to the listening process.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. You texted
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
the photo from your Sirius.
Yeah. And I really like this song. I really, really like this one. I mean, it kicks off with the riff in the beginning reminds me a bit, and I'm going to keep saying this. I think there's a lot of 70s,
Yeah.
60s, 70s, and 80s influence in
He's got
different
some
parts
big
of this album,
influences. Yes.
right? So for Delicia, with me, it's almost like a Prince type riff that then breaks into like, I don't know, radio friendly, like it's almost like a breakup groove, of music. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Police too,
Oh, I can hear that.
you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so kind of, the riff reminds me of Prince, but then when it gets into it, it's like kind of reminds me of the Police, And I mean, just the way he croons with "Oh God, I wish I could delete you," you know,
It's so good.
and such a breezy chorus, because nothing can compete with you. I replenish and repeat you. A heart excretes only one of us, only one. And it's like, wow. It's like, but to
Yeah.
make it sound so fun,
Oh my gosh.
you
Literally,
know?
my notes on this. Like, it's a breakup song for the new generation. Like, 80s had Every
Yeah,
Rose Has Its Thorn. The 90s had, Nothing Compares to You from Sinead, which was also Prince. Fun fact. You
yeah,
told me that.
yeah,
And then the 2000s had so many, it was hard to count. So this was a great breakup song for a new release with, like, new, delete ya. It's the thing that the kids are doing. And I heard this at the listening party for the first time and immediately loved it. And then that replenish and repeat you. It's hard to cut ties when you're in a relationship sometimes. So you say you're done, but, like our girl says sometimes, old habits die screaming. And then the last line reads, "One heart could bleed for the future if we were young, but this is done." Like, it's
yeah,
finally over. He ends it. And
uh,
it's like the anthem to independence, even with being
yeah.
a breakup song.
It was like, okay, I'm grown up now.
Yes.
It's like, I know this isn't good, so
Well, that's the whole thing. This,
no,
by this point in the album, I'm like, this whole album that he's doing, he writes every day. He's noticing the things that are happening in his daily life. This is an album about self-discovery, which is maybe why he is a little bit more
yeah,
prominently featured, because maybe the confidence is there, and he's like, I've made an impact. I can be like, hey, I'm Joe Keery of Joe, and
oh
not
yeah,
hiding behind my orange wig. But that
yeah.
self-discovery was absolutely evident in this song by saying, we're done, I'm moving on.
And it's so hard for me to pick like one song that stands out on this album. But even the two first singles, Basic Being Basic and Delete, it's like
Hmm.
I can't choose one. It's that good that it gets stuck in your head. And, it's like all of a sudden you're bebopping and dancing to a breakup song that you don't
Yeah.
even realize is a breakup song unless you really pay attention to the lyrics,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So really, really like this one.
And then there's Egg.
Egg. I'll let you go first.
There were a lot of notes in here about empathy and regret, self-doubt, and I think
Hmm.
this whole song was a metaphor about being easy to break.
Interesting. Okay.
So a lot of the lyrics, I'm crawling out of my skin, excuse me, saw me through the eyes of the world. he says, I'm weak and deep down inside, there's nothing unique, but a man is a mold and nothing is new. So why not release and let it come through? So there's some self-deprecation. How do I break out of that shell? I think that's what he's talking about. I could be completely wrong here, but the last couple of lines, he says again, crawling out of my skin is that the child who's afraid in you saw me through the eyes of the world.
Yeah.
That's the feel that I got from that song. But again, it was, a great song. It was upbeat. I found myself singing along on my 19th listen through, and the self-discovery really came through again on this song for me.
Well, I don't think I don't think you're off on what you think it means. I mean, just the lyric alone of, so what will you choose? I think it's your heart or your pride. And it's like, okay, it's like, okay, gonna let my heart make the decision or my pride, what's more important, and again, here comes the crux again, right?
Yes.
It's like, so this is the hard decision. What's more important? So, great way to end side one.
Absolutely.
So far on side one, no skips for me.
Not a one.
It's like I like it that much.
Yeah. Even today when I listened, I was, taking notes, and I put it back on when I was listening to finish out my notes, because it is that good of a side one. And, you've heard me talk about 2 LP albums where I'm like, I don't even reach for disc 2 half the time because it's terrible. And like when I want to actually repeat a whole side, that's a great side.
Oh yeah, definitely. And side 2 has a lot of substance coming too.
Oh my gosh!
On side 2.
So again, taking it back to the listening party, by the side 2, I was across the room from you because of how many people were there, and the texting that was going back and forth because of this album. And music always sounds better at a record store. I don't care what anybody says; it just does, because of where you are. It's the environment. It's great. The next song, it was like coming into a whole different album, but somehow still so cohesive.
Yeah, and that was Fly, right?
Yes. And that started off like a Beatles song to me.
Very, almost sets off like him finding himself in almost like a dreamy type state of mind, more laid back. And for me, again, it's just evoking the feeling of moving on from a past love again. Right. So obviously he's been through a lot in his 20s, like everyone.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right. I mean, you talk about, when you're a teenager, you're finding yourself. I'm like, no, you're just beginning to go into the adulthood. You find yourself in your 20s and sometimes even your 30s a little, right?
Yeah, it's not until your 40s that you've done all the drinking for it that maybe problems are solved.
Right? So, Fly, man. I think it's a bit psychedelic, like you said.
Definitely. There's a riff in the beginning, and you're gonna hear my awful singing. But I mentioned it started off like a Beatles song. What's the Beatles song that's like na 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 na? Do you have any idea what I'm saying? But maybe it's a piano that's like dun 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 dun.
Oh, blah dee blah da.
Maybe that's it. Something about JoJo was something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's what that intro to Fly reminded me of. And then it comes in, and again, it's a heartbreaking song, but it's so upbeat and happy that you're like, I'm really happy that I'm sad. Because they broke up again. This is repetition, but he mentions it's a chapter, so the book isn't closed yet. And who hurt you, poor Joe?
Well, it's like, and it's, to me, it's almost like he's convincing himself of certain things, or trying to convince himself. I mean, some lyrics that stand out for me on this one: falling back to her sounds so easy to me, but I must fly away from her. But I must fly. Wind is at your back now. Carry me away now.
I love that.
It's like you need to get out. You need to like move on. Not only move on, fly away from it as fast as you can.
Yeah, his again, like he wrote all these lyrics himself. He has, I think there's 3 or 4 songs that he's got songwriting credit with that. I want to find his name because I want
Adam Thien.
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 So he's writing with Adam Thien, and again, just incredible lyricist. And, we
Yeah.
did Jack's Mannequin call it a week and a half ago now. And that's,
Hmm.
that was a solid 10 for me lyrically and
Hmm.
how those lyrics resonated with me. Hearing this album for the first time was wonderful lyrically because of
Hmm.
everything you can hear that he put into this. So this was another album or another song with Fly that the heart and soul and the emotion is there.
Hmm.
But again, upbeat.
Yeah, and I love the next song.
The next song. Oh my gosh.
Charlie's Garden. I mean, this to me definitely sounds like a Beatle intro. A lot of the instruments in it, a lot of even the vocals in
Oh,
it.
the vocals, the
It's
piano, it's
like
incredible.
reminds me a lot of like when the Beatles were doing their experimental stuff, like Magical Mystery Tour, Abbey
Hmm.
Road type of sounds. It's like, man, it's like if you don't hear some of the Beatles in this as an inspiration, and then to find out what the song's about. I don't know if you know what the song's about.
I started to look into it and then I ran out of
Hmm.
time, but I know this is somebody that he worked with on Stranger Things, but I don't
Yeah,
know the full history.
Charlie
Educate me.
Heaton.
Heaton, yes.
So yes, so um, let me see what happened to my notes. Hold on a second.
Such
I
a good
do
note
have them.
taker.
I promise.
No, I know you do. You always
I
take really good
tried.
notes. No, this song sounded like it was straight out of the 60s and 70s. And as I listened to it too, I said, I'm going to start my morning every day singing this to my dog because her name is Penny. So
Really?
well, of course. So listening to it, waking up, it's the fat back shank of the day. What to do? Take a cup, drink the sleepy away. Penny's up.
Yeah.
And then hear the paws scratch the back of the door. I'm like, oh, he's talking about my dog. This is awesome.
So he wrote this about his co-star Charlie Heaton, um, on obviously on the Crux, and a quote from him is, "I guess part of trying to be as honest as I could was realizing that I could use these songs to sing about the people that I love in my life, and to memorialize these times that I'm experiencing." And he said, that's how this song came about. So at the time, he was specifically inspired by he shared a backyard with Charlie Heaton
Hmm.
and his partner, fellow Stranger Things star Natalia Dyer,
Okay.
while they were filming the Stranger Things series in Atlanta. So Charlie Heaton actually even makes an unexpected cameo in this song,
Oh,
he
okay.
puts on his best American accent to call Carrie about rescheduling what sounds like an audition in like a voiceover that is interspersed throughout the song. So a cool little Easter egg there. So Charlie and Natalia live together, and Joe is living with a friend, and their backyards touch each other. And he said Charlie was always in the yard doing all these chores. Over the summer, we'd have days off, and I would be hanging out, playing guitar, and I'd look in his backyard, and he'd be digging, burying, planting things,
Yeah.
you know. So the track started to materialize when he was visiting Heaton and Dyer's home one day, and he and Natalia were going to take their dog Penny for a walk, right? And they left, and Charlie had a piano there, and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I play your piano while you're gone?" He's like, "Sure, go ahead." So that's when he started. That's when he came up with the song. And when they came back from the walk, he was like, "Hey, listen to this,"
That's
We
awesome.
started playing it. Yeah, and I just think it's such a cool story, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely Beatles influence, even a bit of ELO in there
I could hear
too.
that.
Yeah, for me anyway.
Yeah, like I said, it's straight out of the 60s, 70s with this song, and you do hear so much musical influence throughout this album from so many different people.
Yeah.
Which is funny because as we move into Gap 2 Smile, there was Queen references.
Yes, I mean he calls it out. I mean
Oh,
it's
big
not even
time.
hidden in there,
No,
right?
it's
I mean
not
it's
hidden
in
at
the
all.
lyrics. So I mean definitely a Queen inspired track.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, I love this one too.
I love this one. This one was my favorite. I think it had one of my favorite quotes in there, which is anything's cool if it's done with heart.
Yeah, and really it's like to me he's talking about this girl who he finds attractive, and he describes some of her features like her gap tooth smile,
Sure.
and he's like, hey, and yeah, what? Oh yeah, Freddie said it right because she's my killer queen.
I love
You know,
that. It's nice to see that Freddie Mercury is still being talked about, and like, he's 32. He's not a baby, but
Hmm.
he's still bringing awareness to this amazing, talented musician that many years later.
Yeah, and I just love, again, another lyric. It's not fear, it's love. God, I count my blessings from the one-eyed dove. It's her hair, her style, but I fell in love with her gap-toothed smile.
I love it.
And some people would find that feature to be like, oh, had a gap-toothed smile, and he's like, hey, something, this is attractive.
Yeah,
I love it. Love
yeah.
it.
It's a great song. Again, it's happy. It's fun. Um, we from Queen, of course, we got Fat Bottom Girls. Now we have the Gap Tooth Smile.
Hmm.
It's the anthem to, and I don't want to say like the oddities, but the quirks that make you fall for a person.
Exactly, exactly. So I love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
great song. It's the next one that broke me.
Golden Line.
Oh my god. Okay, so I love this entire project that we're doing because it's the time that I can disconnect. I put the phone down. It's just me and the computer, so I can take notes and the lyric sheet. And I
Hmm.
don't know who this song was written for or
I
about,
don't know.
but as I listened, the opening line, I was like, I need to cry a little bit. It
Hmm.
starts with, life can bring you down, the world can be so cruel, but I still trust in love. I find that trust in you.
Yeah, it reminded
It
me of
broke me.
yeah, it reminds me a lot almost of a Carole King song, with a piano. I mean, it slows things down a little,
Yeah.
and again, just a lot of introspection in this one,
Big time.
I think, and it pays off at the end, I think,
It,
you know.
because, all right, so like I always talk about like the curve of the album. We're kind of coming
Hmm.
downhill because this is, we have three songs
Yeah,
to go, this
yeah.
being one of them. But it was the perfect way to start the ending of this album. And, he talks about time can give and life can take. Like, number one, how fucking true.
Hmm.
The Golden Line was also an Easter egg on the album. The Subway Grate says the Golden Line. So that's on the back
Hmm.
cover, I think.
Yes.
Um, But I think for one that's not upbeat, this is one of my favorites because of the meaning behind it and everything. It's all for you. Time can give, and life can take away. Each and every day, yes, it's true. I do it all for you. I think he's looking for the right person here. He's trying to find who it is. He wants that companionship. He wants that relationship, but it's finding the right person. Um,
Yeah.
and time can give and life can take, and it's life is short here, and you're talking about spending time thinking about scenarios that could have been and trying to live your life in the
Hmm.
moment. This is one of those. I think this is a great song when you're sad, when you're happy, to just kind of reground you, and it's absolutely worth the listen.
It a lot, listening to the record and listening to I mean, reading as you go along, you don't even realize, unless you have the lyric sheet in front of you, how many layers of vocals
Ooh, yeah,
are on this.
that's
There's a
for
lot of
sure.
layering of vocals that I would have missed if I hadn't looked at the lyric sheet. But with this particular one, I feel like his voice dominates the foreground. It's
It
there,
does.
it's right in front. Um, and I think really, and all the songs were very, again, introspective. But this one, I think this is the one that he's the most vulnerable and naked in, if you,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like he's not holding back on this
No.
one. This is like, hey, this is as real as I can
Oh
get
yeah, heart on the sleeve
musically.
kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely. It's like let it all out there, let it lay bare, open book. This is it
Yes, a
for
hundred
this
percent.
album.
But
Yeah,
I think that was the same for the next one as well, Back on You.
yeah. Love this song.
All right,
Love this
so
one.
this is the one that the intro, I don't like the intro to this song,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, it reminds me of "Can't Always Get What You Want" by The Clash, where you have that orchestral sound in the beginning to that song that they always cut off the radio because it's lengthens the song and it's annoying. And I think if you can cut out that intro to this song, it would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm. You mean the Rolling Stones or the Clash?
I know it's You Can't Always Get What You Want.
Yeah, that's a song by the Rolling Stones. I didn't know. Well, maybe the Clash covered it,
No, no, no.
and I
It's
don't
definitely the
know.
Rolling Stones then. I think I'm just tired.
Oh,
I wrote the Clash, but God only knows what I'm saying. Well, this is why I'm 80s to today. You know, it's cool.
yeah. Well, well, that's why I was a little confused because you're like they always cut the intro on the
What
radio. I'm
Clash
like,
song am I thinking? No, it's definitely not the Clash. You're right. It's the Rolling Stones. Don't listen
and
to
I'm
me.
like, yeah, they do that on the Rolling Stones song, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
just like I
I
met
don't know.
Randy Macho Man Savage at Comic Con last year.
Yeah, last year, right? Yeah,
No,
and that's why I
so
was like, wait, maybe they do one that they also cut the beginning on the radio.
not on this one. No, the Rolling Stones. Let me edit my note on that so I don't make that mistake twice. I'll say that to the wrong person. No, with the Rolling Stones song, "You Can't Always Get What You Want." It's that orchestral intro, and I hate it because you have this iconic song and that intro that just drives me a little bonkers. Same thing
Hmm.
with this one. You know, you get through that really. It's not a bad intro. It's just it's something, and then you get to the bigger part of the
Yeah.
song, the part that you look forward to. And again, you know, inspiration is drawn. You know, obviously we've talked about like him going back into the 60s, 70s, and you know, part of the
Hmm.
80s here for inspiration. So I think that's what that was. This was the only one that I would be like, could you cut out just like that first 10 to 15 seconds, get rid of that, and get right into the song for me?
The Brooklyn Youth Chorus are part of this song.
That's who needs to
Um,
go.
is well, we
I
just
said what
lost
I
the
said.
Brooklyn. We just lost the Brooklyn Youth
No,
Chorus
no
as a
shade. Like
follower.
they're so talented again, but you know, it's the second to last song on the album. I think it's powerful. I think it's a great song. I don't want that intro there.
Well, anyway, thank you, Brooklyn Youth Chorus. I still support you.
Kevin still loves you. He'll see you in concert.
But again, this is really a homage to not only his sisters, but the people that have always been there for him. You know, and even part of these lyrics are part of his thank you. On the top right hand corner, I don't know if you saw that on the lyric sheet on the back
Let's
cover,
check.
where the last you know, he says to my family and friends in Newburyport, because he was born in Newburyport,
Yeah,
Massachusetts,
Massachusetts represent.
in Chicago, in Atlanta, New York, LA, Rome, Calgary. You filled my life with laughter and spirit. This record is dedicated to you. You can count on me. I'm leaning back on you. So that's actually a lyric. You know, the I'm leaning back on you, which is, you know, you're always there for me. I can always count on you no matter what I'm going through, even though I'm this famous person.
Yeah, the so this was a great thank you to his friends and family that have supported him to get to this point in his album. Um, again, I love lyrics and dissecting them when I go through. So there is a lyric that I
Hmm.
loved. When the rain started falling, I had to close my eyes to keep myself from washing away. So, you know, you're talking about
Hmm.
depression, maybe some anxiety in there. And then there's a hook before that that says, when life's plan isn't shining through, you understand, you help me see it through, so you can count on me, I'm leaning back on you. Again, the title of the song. So this goes
Hmm.
back to the whole writing things down as they happen, both good days and bad days of people. And this did feel like a relationship with his friends and family in a community where others need
Hmm.
to be, you know, where you are helping others handle life sometimes. And that
Hmm.
give and take that there is. So back on you is it's I got you, you got me.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I have no words.
Yeah. I mean, this, again, just pleasantly surprised with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I had no expectations. As it, it's like I heard a few songs where I'm like, hey, I like these songs. But
Yeah.
I mean, you and I both know, I mean, there's albums that we get and we buy because, like, oh, I like these singles. And the rest of the album's complete garbage.
Oh yeah, I've got a stack back there that has to go. I mean
You know, and it's like, oh, I think I could have done with just a single and I'd be good. You know.
exactly, yeah. And you know, I have those singles too.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you know, like you said, you go in with no expectations, and then I had to pre-order immediately.
Yeah, I did too. I did. I may have done it during.
I think I did
Yeah,
too.
yeah, during the actual listening party. You know,
And
and
then the
brings
last
us,
song, the
yeah,
crux of
last
it
one.
all.
Hmm. Yeah, Crux,
So
closing
you
track.
closing track, and so you know, at our listening party, the last song did not play right away.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, it's over. Bye, everybody. And 2 minutes later, it started up,
Yep.
which is kind of funny with what a whole crux is, that decision on, is this album good?
Hmm.
So it starts off, there's a crux to everything. Not everybody's contemplating it. Only you, oh my God, I can't read. Only you, unsatisfied. I wonder who it is on this island with me. So again, quiet contemplation.
Hmm.
Lyrically, it's there. Musically, it's there. It's powerful. It's danceable. This is Joe's Heart on a Plate, this end song. And it's
Yeah.
what he named the album after.
Hmm. And
With good reason.
yeah, and no doubt in my mind that title track is the last track. It was done that way for a reason,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and really, it's like when you think of his acting career, I'm sure we're still going to see great roles from him.
Absolutely.
But overall, can I give you my overall thoughts?
Of course. Yeah, we're at the end
So,
here.
so my overall thoughts are: this is like, if I were to describe this, I think this is one word. In one word, this album, I would say earworm.
Yes.
It's like you listen to it once, it's like, oh, it's stuck in your head. All of a sudden, it's like you don't even realize you're humming the song. It's like, hey, what am I humming along to? Oh yeah, that song I just heard, right? And it becomes more of an earworm the more you hear it. On further replays, it gets stuck even further into your head.
It really does. You don't realize, like you said, how much it's in your head until you find yourself, going, I wish I could delete ya. Or even just like, some of the little guitar riffs or the piano that are stuck with you every day as you are going along. And, from start to finish, this album, I think, was perfectly laid out. We're on, I called this a mini review. I didn't call this a full episode, but this would have been episode 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk a lot about if the tracks would have been rearranged differently, I would have liked this better. I had one negative thing to say about, the second to last song.
Mm-hmm.
This whole album was done from start to finish with such care and attention to detail, down to the album cover itself.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited that it dropped when it did, because we are going to hear it all summer and into the fall. And I think maybe had this been on a bigger label, it would have gotten a lot more attention than it is right now.
Yeah, and I think, he took elements, you could definitely see the influences in the album, but it's by no means feels at all like a ripoff by any chance. It is fresh, exciting, new, and I'm here for it.
100% with you.
I don't know about your thoughts on it, but I think if you haven't listened to it, especially if you're an indie alternative fan, gotta listen to it. Listen to the whole thing.
To it, yeah. Give it a spin at least once, and you'll find yourself singing it and wanting more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Do you feel, because we talk about going from 1982 today, is this one that you feel somebody should listen to in their life based on everything that we've talked about tonight?
I could easily rate this right now.
I could too.
This could change in a year.
It could, but so could everything else that we've talked about.
Exactly. Right now, from listening to this a handful of times, from beginning to end, again, I'm stingy.
Yeah, I know you are.
I would have no problem giving this one a solid 8.
I am 100% on board with you with an 8, which is a need for my collection. It is fresh right now. It's something we have not heard, so it is on heavy rotation. So I'm leaning at it as a 9 right now, but only because it's being played so much. Because I haven't had it before,
exactly.
Right? It's like when you get a new ice cream flavor that you're like, I need this every day.
Yeah, like when they first invented cookie dough ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
in my lifetime.
Well, yeah, cookie dough's amazing. So we have this new cookie dough ice cream, but it's absolutely a need for the collection, which is the number 8.
100%. Yeah.
Lyrically, it's there. Musically, it's there. The influences are there. The callbacks to the great bands and musicians that came before that he is calling to, he's paying tribute in the most respectful and beautiful way possible. The album is about self-discovery, paying attention to what's going on around you, living in the moment, and just existing today. I mean, we don't do enough of that.
The musically, again, if you look at his first two albums and then this one, the trajectory is going up.
It is.
From the first, and nothing against the first two albums, but
oh no,
it just shows the progression from the first to the second to the third album. It's like, if he continues that trajectory, it's like we'll be talking about him for a while.
I think you're right. And the first album was, and help me out here, but we had 2020, which I think came out in 2020.
Mm-hmm. And then
Decide, which was 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And this was now the Crux in 2025. So if we get something else in 2026 or early 2027, I think he'll stay on this pattern. He will remain on that path in the best possible way, and we will continue seeing huge things from Joe Keery.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's honestly, hearing this album, I would love to see him perform live.
Absolutely. I know it sucks that you're going to be traveling when he's in our neck of the woods, but
I'm hoping Connecticut.
I think we can make Connecticut.
Yeah. I'm hoping to do probably the one day, when he's there. Unless there's someone really good on the other day that I want to see. I have to look at the list again. But
we'll definitely have to check, because I would love to get as close as possible to be like, I love this. To hear these live.
Yeah.
This is an album that I would love to hear, right? I would love to hear this from start to finish live. I think it would be incredibly amazing.
Oh, for sure.
A live venue like that, full band setup, and nothing compares to hearing your favorite music in a concert setting. I stand by that.
Oh, 100% agreed. 100% agreed. There's something about live music. Again, these artists connect with their fans through the lyrics, through the music, through the tunes, but that's like a one-on-one connection almost. Even though there's thousands and thousands of people there, it's like when you're there living it live and they're pouring their heart and soul into their performance, it's like that's the best connection. Many artists have stated that. It's like that's what they miss the most.
Oh yeah.
Is when they tour.
Nope, for sure. So that's the crux of it all. It's officially made the list. We can.
I think so.
And I think when we hit the year mark, we'll go back and we'll look at the albums that did make the year and the original ratings that they got and see where they still rank on our list. But
do you have a spreadsheet going?
I do. Of course I
do. I knew you would. I knew you would.
I'm too type A to not have a spreadsheet.
Nah. As you see, I don't want my lyric sheet to get banged up.
No, mine will go back shortly. So this is the Crux. This is officially a solid 8 for the 1001 albums to listen to before you die. If you haven't had a chance to hear it yet, stream it, get a vinyl, get a CD, play it, enjoy it, and of course, find your own rating. Music is subjective. But that's Joe Keery's third album, The Crux.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. Drop in chat if you have heard it. And then we will be back this upcoming Thursday for 9 Inch Nails, the Downward Spiral.
I can't wait for you not to like.
I'm going in with such an open mind. I think I'm gonna listen to it. I have an 8 a.m. meeting tomorrow, so after that I think some 9 Inch Nails might be called for.
You may need to follow along with the lyrics. I don't know.
Probably. I haven't been able to get a vinyl yet, so I think Spotify is gonna be the way I go, but at least it'll highlight for me where I am. So
there you go.
So that'll be this Thursday. And then we may also talk about, Record Store Day, since that's this upcoming weekend as well.
Yeah.
That's a big one for some people.
It is here.
It's coming. I'm so excited. All right. So for those of you guys that did watch, thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure you follow our Facebook, our YouTube, our Instagram, our TikTok. And then we will be live this upcoming Thursday, the 10th. I had to look. At 7 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you are subscribed to